And using SED's new system, it's really, really fantastic. You don't even need water rudders with this airplane. You can just give it a little boot full of power and spin it right around. It's great. I really love that addition to the sim. It's been a huge help. Like I said, the performance isn't amazing, so don't expect to be winning any races with it. Climb rates to get to 10,000 feet was probably about a 20-minute affair in these airplanes. And to get to service ceiling, 15,000 feet was an hour. But you got incredible endurance and range. The X model, the latest one, was about 2,700 miles when it was in its sort of flying gas can configuration. And even the prototype was able to do 2,200 miles in one go, which is pretty amazing for the day. And yeah, so that's pretty much the airplane. The one final thing I wanted to say about the prototype, the one in the museum in Brazil, is the reason it's there. I mean, it was flown there by a Brazilian pilot, but the reason it stayed in Brazil was after the arrival, Savoy Marchetti didn't really want the airplane back because they had much bigger plans. They're already working on new versions and everything. So they traded it to the Brazilian Navy for the only thing that I would approve of trading an airplane for, which was coffee and lots of coffee. So that is kind of the quick story of the S55 from Marchetti.
You want to comment on the video, Mike?
So on the video, yeah, let's bring it up here. So that's the S55X, at least a little bit of delay that I'm seeing. That is the later version of the airplane. It had a lot more instrumentation than the prototype. Prototype was really bare bones. It has an Ascania direction finder, which was made in Germany, which is pretty cool. It basically allows you to select the heading, and you fly that heading, and it's a mechanical compass that will tell you your deviation from track. So it's one of those things you use once you get all set up in perfect cruise and good configuration for a long journey. So that's an alternative. We tried to keep the airplane as original as possible. The prototype is basically strictly original equipment, except for a comm radio, because back then they were using long wave, short wave, huge antennas, a whole radio station. It didn't really apply to the sim very easily. So that's the one, conceit to the modern world. The X has more of a flying restoration quality to it, where it has a GPS and it has a transponder. It can be used in airspace properly. Like I said, the X was probably about 150 miles an hour average speed. The prototype now, you're going to see the red one, the Yahoo, was quite a bit slower, about 115 miles an hour, but you get that fun kind of open cockpit feeling.
Wow.
And I also wanted to mention I'm a huge VR buff. It's the only way I fly. I've got a Reverb G2. I'm totally hooked, and I understand that a lot of people have issues with propellers and reprojection, a lot of flickering and things like that going on. So I'm taking extra care to get some prop animations going that are really going to work nicely with VR. But it's kind of a neat airplane to fly in VR because there's so much parallaxing going on with the crazy truss structure, and the cockpit's a lot smaller than you think looking at a 2D video. The airplane's a little deceiving in size. Some people think it's really big, some think it's really small. It's around the same size as an F-14 Tomcat, if you're curious. So these airplanes could be configured in a number of ways. You could basically outfit them as an airliner, which a couple small airlines did in Alaska and Russia. Yeah, so yeah. So yeah, that's
right.
that's the S55 in a nutshell. It's